Inspired by him, Jannik Sinner finds solace in the form of British ATP Pro as he makes his thoughts known. Nothing wrong with having a friendly face when dealing with adversities. Not to be undone, Jannik Sinner's doping nightmare might have its fair share of supporters. Since last year, the Italian superstar has constantly faced strong resistance against the much-lamented inconsistencies in his doping investigation. Things escalated quickly when he accepted a slap on the wrist from WADA and high-profile players like Nick Kyrgios, who went on to cite how fairness in tennis does not exist. Regardless, not everyone shares the same opinion. When asked about his 3-month suspension, Jack Draper's words were as emphatic as they were sincere. Back in mid-February, when Sinner received a 3-month ban, Draper was among the ones to speak for the Italian. "I know Jannik, he's a good friend, and I know that with this whole thing, I am sure he wouldn't have done anything intentionally. But obviously, that's the sport and we have to be accountable for what's going in our bodies. Yeah, he is obviously banned now for a few months. I don't think that's good for tennis. I don't think it's good for sport that the #1 player in the world and someone who is doing incredible things is having a ban, but you know he will be back shortly and I wish him all the best. I hope he is going to be okay," he said during an interview with Sky Sports on February 17. The Briton jetted to the Californian desert for the Indian Masters. Ahead of his main draw matchup, Draper was asked to divulge his thoughts on the controversial doping sanction on Sinner. To much surprise, the 2024 US Open semi-finalist praised the world #1 and even went on as far as to describe him as a really kind guy while backing the Italian sensation with a heartwarming candid admission: "We've always kept in touch since I've been on tour the last couple of years. Jannik is a good friend, someone I'm definitely close to," Draper told reporters in New York after reaching his maiden Grand Slam semi-final at the US Open last year. It is reported that he and Sinner remain in contact regardless of location, a connection the British player values for its support during his tour. They exchange messages through good and bad times. For those unaware, Draper isn't the only one with such thoughts. A few weeks earlier, Serena Williams' ex-coach Rick Mackey came to Sinner's defense after explaining every case is handled with a different approach. "Let's take a deep breath on the Sinner ban. Rules of the game are no rules. Case-by-case situation. Just like a regular court of law on when the law is broken," he wrote on. Moreover, Rafael Nadal's uncle Tony Nadal did not endorse the Italian's 3-month doping ban. The Mallorcan claimed Sinner had no intention of wrongdoing, and expressed that even his WADA compromise was too harsh. "I've said it many times before and explained it, I am against the sanction. Sanctions should be given to those who intentionally do things wrong for personal gain. And I know that's not the case with Sinner. I know he didn't gain anything from what they found. So why do you want to punish him?" Regardless, Sinner took responsibility for his team's actions in the aftermath and is looking forward to the next chapter of his career. In March 2024, Italian trailblazer Jannik Sinner twice tested positive for the banned anabolic clostebol. Upon investigation from the International Tennis Integrity Association, ITIA, Sinner was awarded a no-guilt or negligence verdict after accepting his defense plea, stating that the substance entered his system due to a contaminated massage from his physiotherapist. Although this allowed him to compete and life several top-tier titles in the months that followed, it wasn't long before the World Anti-Doping Agency filed a decision reversal appeal with the Court of Arbitration, CAS. The final decision of his case was set to be heard in April as he faced a potential 1 to 2 year ban. However, Sinner came to a case resolution agreement with WADA on February 15 and accepted a 3-month suspension from competitive tennis. Later, the 23-year-old issued a statement highlighting he was pleased to finally put the controversy to rest after enduring months of acute backlash from the community. "This case had been hanging over me now for nearly a year and the process still had a long time to run with a decision maybe only at the end of the year." He also expressed respect for the anti-doping measures taken by the authorities. "I have always accepted that I am responsible for my team and realize WADA's strict rules are an important protection for the sport I love. On that basis I have accepted WADA's offer to resolve these proceedings on the basis of a 3-month sanction. On the bright side, Sinner won't skip from any slam events, seeing as his suspension is timed in a way that he is only sidelined from a handful of tour-level events. However, the Italian player is expected to lose 2,100 ranking points before his sanction comes to an end on May 4. He will now be seen at the Italian Open.